Podcast Network Asia.
This episode is brought to you by Podmetrics. Podmetrics is a podcast analytics platform that enables podcasters to see all the relevant data they need to know about their podcast's audience. Sign up now at podmetrics.co and use the referral code Wrestling2XPod. Again, the code Wrestling2XPod.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
I said, give me a hell yeah!
Hey, this is Zeta Zane.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Talent is not sexually transmitted.
You need to go back to the drawing board because your game absolutely sucks!
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You are watching and listening to the longest-running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C. Romoran and Chino Liao checking in. May 6, 2021, so it's our first live stream for the month of May. How's it going, guys? How are you, Chino? It's 4 a.m. ba where you're at?
Yes, it's 4:06 right now in the US. So,
Much naman sa energy mo. Much naman sa 4 a.m.
Di pa ako natutulog. Obviously.
Thank you for your commitment to the podcast.
I'm really not. Like, if I didn't have anything to plug, I would sleep. So,
well, thank you for your candor, Chino. I'm sure you appreciate that, bro. Right?
Okay lang, sakto lang. One of those days na we should try to get through it. I think it's not been a good week for many of us.
For a lot of us, yeah. Say what's up to Sebastian over in the comment section. Thanks for joining us, man. You know, if you guys are new to the podcast, we've been actually doing this thing for the last month, and it's a little something called hashtag WWP 7 years, because we're celebrating all of you for sticking with us for the last 7 years and 1 month, and for over 400 episodes. So for the last month, we've been giving away Funko Pops from our friends from Kramer Toy Warden, and we're ready to give away yung prize namin from last week. So babyface producer Nikai, let's show everybody what we're giving away right now, and it is this Mr. T WrestleMania 1 Funko Pop. And yung instructions namin were for you to do your best I Pity the Fool impression. And we have a winner. And our winner comes to us from TikTok. So let's give our Mr. T WrestleMania 1 Funko Pop to Aaron Alvarez. Congratulations, man.
Hey, congrats, Aaron.
Really popped me with the promo kasi he says he pities the fool who believed in change is coming. So di ko na kailangan ituloy yun lahat kasi baka masimpa tayo from TikTok. But the Mr. T flashed on Kumu. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. What's up to Cornelius Lowe, one of our friends from the Southeast Asian wrestling scene? You can catch him on MyPW, and you can catch his very good friend on commentary on APAC Wrestling as well. Speaking of the Funko Pops, we're not stopping there. In fact, we have one last Funko Pop to give away. And
it's
this is the one we've been saving for last. It's a big one. This Funko Pop represents a big part of Chino's childhood and wrestling fandom. So, babyface producer, let's put it up on the screen. What are we giving away? It is the Macho Man Randy Savage Funko Pop. Ito yung second release. Kasi the very first one was from way back in 2015. This is a more updated release. All right? So this is what we're giving away, courtesy of our friends from Kramer Toy Warden. So, Ro, let's tell them how they can win this Macho Man Funko Pop.
Well, okay, ganito yan. We made it even easier. Ayun, there it is on our screen. So now you got to take a video of yourselves doing the Macho Man entrance to the song Pomp and Circumstance, or the piece Pomp and Circumstance. So
yung graduation song.
Yung graduation song natin, lahat. Yung pambansang graduation song ng bayan. Nikai, let's show them the video of my example of this entrance mimicry. Ayun, there it is. Ayun. Yep. Yon. That's me in my mask. Ooh yeah. Threw in an ooh yeah for good measure. All right. Yeah.
All right. So ganun kadali, 'di ba? Ganun kasimple. We just want you to video yourself doing your best Macho Man entrance spin, and then if you want to throw in an ooh yeah, go ahead and do that. If you're gonna do it on TikTok, it's so much easier kasi the actual song Pomp and Circumstance is right there. So you can look for it, then itime mo na rin yung sarili mo as you do the Macho Man entrance.
Also, course, you can also be as creative as you want to be. Put on a robe. Yes. Kung may robe kayo dyan, kung may shawl yung nanay nyo na sparkly, suot nyo na din, diba? Put all the effort you want. Pagtrabuhan nyo, guys, yung video. Yeah. Kung nasa Pilipinas lang ako nang kumuha ng pop. Totoo lang.
Nakalimutan ko gumamit ng kumot eh. So,
that was my mistake. Yun, lagyan yun ng effort. You can look for examples like gaya ni Zero, or look for examples on YouTube. Ang daming examples of Macho Man doing his signature entrance. And it's just a simple move that can win you a very, very coveted Funko Pop.
Ayun si Bruce, hindi sinuli yung toga niya from graduation.
Yun, okay yun. Good job. So
don't forget to tag us at Wrestling2X Pod on Twitter and TikTok, at Wrestling Podcast on Instagram and on Facebook. Pati na rin use the hashtag WWP7years. So don't forget all of those.
Yeah, make it public din para makita namin, all right? So you have from right now until the start of our stream next week. So mga 6:30 Thursday next week, saka namin isasara for all of the entries. All right, so good luck. In the meantime, of course, we have the Wrestling Podcast Patreon program, which we'd love for you to be a part of. We have an upcoming pay-per-view in a couple of weeks, yung WrestleMania Backlash. So if you want to be a part of our live watch parties, receive Wrestling Podcast merch like our face masks, and be part of our private Discord community, you can go to patreon.com/Wrestling Podcast, and you can sign up for as low as $5 a month or mga 250 pesos a month to be a Wrestling Podcast patron. Your support goes a long, long way to help us keep doing what we do best as the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. All right, let's get to some wrestling talk for this week. What about Blood and Guts, huh? Let's start there.
Since it's the most recent, go ahead.
Yeah, so Blood and Guts happened earlier. I love how both Dynamite and SmackDown were pushing a big main event, and then yung episode na yun talagang naka-center around that main event. So we'll talk about SmackDown later. Yung Blood and Guts for Dynamite, diba? Talagang naka-center doon. Yung pangalan nga ng episode, diba? Blood and Guts. And they had the two rings there from start to finish kasi, how could you not, right? I loved how they really went the distance with this, from the entrances to yung costumes nila, yung pinako naka all white, yung inner circle naka all black. Even the story beats that they went through, I felt like cohesive naman siya, hindi naman siya dragging for me. So na-enjoy ko tong Blood and Guts na to.
Yeah, at first I was wondering bakit hindi nila ginawa on pay-per-view. But then I realized why. Kasi the whole two-ring setup, the whole cage setup is a monster to behold, diba? And you kind of make it hard for a lot of the setup, or a lot of the guys or in the production team to pull all of that off in a normal pay-per-view, diba? So when I watched it, though, I saw that it was like the perfect fit for TV. It was good. It was the focus of the show. Kenny Omega gets to be the main event in the next pay-per-view na lang, instead of this having to go on last. And I dare say it came off better than War Games on NXT.
Sige, why did you say so?
Yung War Games kasi on NXT, dalawa kasi they hit us over the head with two War Games matches, both for the men and the women. And because of that, you get tired of the match after the end of the 3 or so hours of that pay-per-view, of that takeover event. Ito, alam mo, may time limit sila. They have to do it by 10 o'clock Eastern, right? So, you know that you're not going to get a super protracted match. Sakto lang. Maybe 30 minutes considering all the commercial breaks and all of that stuff. But me going, a guy who likes the wrestling to be a little shorter than usual, not super marathon, okay naman siya. I liked it. And definitely more violence. Definitely more stuff to do than what they did sa NXT.
Sabi ni Yuan in the comment section, okay lang yung match na yun for him. And he adds na sana si MJF nung sa dulo, yung ginawa niya kay Chris Jericho was a finisher, not just a pushdown. And diba yung finishers ni MJF were the heat seeker, which I don't think you can use to like throw someone off a cage. And yung submission niya, I forget what it's called. So I think really the pushdown or like a kick was really his only option. Ikaw, Chino, have you seen Blood and Guts?
No, I have not, which is why I am very, very quiet at this point. Well, life happens, guys.
Right.
Okay, wait. So I just have a question. Since we've talked about you guys are talking about Blood and Guts, does it do a good job of wrapping a bow around this rivalry?
I don't think it's over.
Yeah,
which is weird. I don't think it's over because of what MJF does at the end. Na tinulak niya si Chris Jericho off the top of the cage, diba? So for sure, babalikan pa siya ng Inner Circle. And I think what it does do is yung pagka-gritty and pagka-violent ng match actually sets up the Inner Circle to be even bigger baby faces, which we said, diba, noong una parang, okay lang, sakto lang, can't fully buy them yet. Pero now I think they're really doing a good job of it, especially when you had Sammy Guevara at the end, literally yelling, "Don't do it, MJF, don't do it." So, yung mga moments na ganun, for me, it really sold me on the Inner Circle.
Yung sinabi ni Yuan na he should have done a finisher, I think getting pushed off the top of the cage is a finisher. Kasi, I mean, you can't really get up from that. Okay, so may issue with the wrestling community about the finish of the match, and specifically the crash pads or the area where Chris Jericho landed. So as you can see in my background, when he falls down and he lands on the ramp on the stage, kitang-kita mo na plywood siya and not really a stainless steel floor. Yeah. So people are kind of against that kasi parang okay, pinakita mo na it was really safe. It was not as dangerous as expected. What do you guys think of that? And does it matter in the end? Kasi ako, being a wrestler who's taking bumps, that's not a joke, even if he landed on a mattress, diba?
Yeah, that's 15 feet.
Feeling ko gusto na mamatay si Chris Jericho.
Okay. Yun pa. Like, okay, guys, I know that we like our violent wrestling, some of us more than others. Some of you may probably worship at the altars of Onita and Nick Gage and all that. Pero I don't. I don't want to see a 50-plus-year-old man falling down 15 feet onto a steel stage. I don't want to see that. So, nung napanood ko siya, I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Honestly, not everybody can be Mick Foley. Diba? Even Mick Foley doesn't want to be Mick Foley. So when you say you push somebody off a cage of what I assume is a cage similar in height to a regular steel cage, parang mataas na yun eh. That should be dangerous enough, guys. I don't know what you want. Do you want somebody to die? Do you want the Dark Side of the Ring episode?
It's not like he promised to get on a jet ski and then not, do it when he had to, right?
I think yung main complaint ng mga tao is that production design did not do their due diligence and paint the underside of the cardboard of the plywood to make it look like it was steel.
Listen, of all the production errors that AEW has had, hindi ko yan sasama. Mas unahin ko pa yung fireworks, the barbed wire match,
the barbed wire death match. Yeah. Diba? Mas malaking kasalanan yun kesa to eh.
Oh, I mean, like you're still crashing through wood. That doesn't tickle. So guys gotta relax. Guys gotta chill. He still fell 15 or 20 feet off the top of a cage.
Yeah, sabi ni Jo Marie sa comment section, thank God they did everything to protect Le Champion. Yeah, diba? For me, priority pa rin yung safety ng lahat ng performers. Kahit na sabihin mo na babardagulan sila dun and that they're gonna lose blood and all that. At the end of the day, pinaka-importante pa rin na safe sila. Diba? So, let's lay off AEW for this one.
Yeah,
Any other thoughts on Blood and Guts before we go to SmackDown?
No, that's pretty much it. You guys should go watch it if you can find a copy. Meron namang copy on the internet floating around. Yeah, it's a Fight TV. It's what, $2 or $3 or $5. You can watch that episode for that minimal amount if you want to support them. So yeah, really fun. Go watch it.
Yep. All right, let's go to SmackDown here and let's talk about the biggest news coming out of it. Diba kanina sinabi rin natin na yung Blood and Guts talagang naka-focus dun sa Blood and Guts mismo yung episode ng Dynamite. SmackDown was pretty much the same. And we were really focused on Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. And I think I tweeted this out. I don't really remember. But it was the first big episode of SmackDown in years na talagang na-feel mo na may mangyayari ngayon. Like whether Bryan actually wins or Bryan gets banished, it was really gonna be big. And it helped na all of the other matches, sakto lang siya. And then yung ibang superstars were also weighing in with their predictions, with their comments about the match. I don't remember the last time an episode of SmackDown felt that big. What are your thoughts, guys?
Who wants to go first?
No, honestly, I also did not expect them to kill Daniel Bryan. It's like that concerto at the end was just an exclamation point to the entire show, and it was just it's such a definitive win for Roman Reigns yet again, but also a definitive end for Daniel Bryan's SmackDown career. Now, people are saying that he might be headed to another promotion or he might leave the WWE. We can't really confirm that just yet, but we know that Daniel Bryan, in his advanced age and the amount of time he's dedicated to the WWE, is looking to work with other younger talent outside of just the main roster promotions.
Yeah, we gotta mention na it was reported by Fightful Select na nag-expire na yung contract ni Daniel Bryan. So that doesn't mean na wala na siya sa WWE. It just means na nag-expire na yung contract niya. So for all we know, Vince and Bryan could be renegotiating right now, but Bryan could also be fielding calls from other companies, AEW, New Japan, MLW, Impact, whoever. So, Ro, where do you see this going?
Honestly, I think we're gonna see him stay with WWE. Tapos minimize schedule for him kasi as Chino said, he wanted to take a little more time to spend with his family. So it would be interesting, very interesting, if he did actually work with other companies. I think yung pinaka-goal niya right now is to work in WWE and then also work in other companies while being contracted to WWE. So if he pulls that off, then it would be such a huge forbidden door opening in the United States.
And
so
go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say I'm willing to see where he goes next. I just don't see it being anywhere else other than WWE, but I would love to see him somewhere else.
And dyan natin papasok yung MLW agreement with WWE. I reported this last week. WWE and MLW have entered into an agreement wherein it's something similar to the ECW deal they had in the 90s, or just recently the Evolve deal they had before they decided to buy Evolve instead. They send over their guys to smaller promotions, have them work there, and then have them gain exposure and TV experience while they're at it, since MLW is actually shown on TV here, although I haven't actually caught it.
Actually, free show on YouTube, so you can watch yung MLW episodes in full. So you can catch it there.
So you can go do that. And that actually begs the question, if we're going to see, since Daniel Bryan really wants to work with an outside promotion, are we going to see Daniel Bryan in MLW?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Feeling ko mas probable pa na sa NXT siya magpakita. If anything, sabi ni Joseph, I hope he passes the torch to Johnny Gargano at WrestleMania or TakeOver. It could happen. I think it happens kapag nag-NXT si Daniel Bryan. You know, I would really love Daniel Bryan versus Johnny Gargano. That's a match and feud I would kill for. So,
yun pa, isa pa, nagparamdam din si Johnny Gargano on Instagram by tweeting that photo of him and a very young him and a very young Daniel Bryan in an indie show all those years ago.
Yeah,
so that's an interesting statement.
Ang daming possibilities actually. Jomary's asking, if Bryan's not with WWE anymore, then how come his merch is still in the WWE shop?
Kasi WWE owns his merch and stuff like that. I mean, they made it.
Kasi you got worked, son. That's
Tsaka, no. Etong comment ni Bruce, he said that didn't this expired contract thing happen to Drew Gulak last year, but he eventually ended up getting renewed? Yes. So that's why I'm saying it's entirely possible that he sticks around WWE in a more limited capacity. So I support him being a journeyman, possibly trying to work with other companies while being under contract to WWE. So sana mangyari yun.
Or kahit maging Shawn Michaels siya, as in Shawn Michaels 2.0, diba? Yung from 2008 to 2010 ganung schedule, I'd support that.
And even JK brings up a good point with Rey Mysterio. Diba? He was off TV a while because he was renegotiating his contract to bring in Aaliyah and Dominic full time. So maybe we might not see Daniel Bryan on TV for quite some time. And then maybe we see him pop up at a random NXT many, many months later. Who knows?
Yeah. That would be great. Last question here before we go to take our first break. Sabi ni Aaron, do you guys dig Roman's new theme? Ro, I know you have some feelings about this.
Oo naman. Syempre, it's a long overdue new debut. So, syempre, hindi na bagay yung Shield theme na remix for him since he turned heel. So I like it. I like the vibe of it. I like the aura of it. I like that it is a final boss theme, as Stan said on his theme song Tuesday column. So it's really mafioso hip-hop sounding, and that is right up my alley.
Yeah, nakakatuwa yung mga strings eh. Like if you get really OC about the sonic elements, like you'll hear violins and what appears to be a harpsichord, nakala ko mandolin. So I tend to get nerdy about those things, and you'll hear that in Roman Reigns' theme, and it's kind of weird because hindi mo siya i-expect in a wrestling theme. So I like it for now. Yeah. Ikaw, Chino?
No, I like it. First of all, I didn't know that you were a fan of pre-Renaissance musical instruments.
Well, I like my bardcore.
Good for you. You know your pre-piano instruments, but also I like it because it's about time he got rid of the Shield theme, and I like how they're distancing him slowly but surely away from that character. First of all, they took out the tactical pants. They and the vest, and they got rid, and they gave him one gold glove, which I thought was menacing enough. But to change the music actually solidifies this character a lot more. So I don't see him dropping the title anytime soon.
Yeah. My only wish is that the theme debuted earlier. I wish he debuted it nung Rumble, and then nung WrestleMania, ito na yung theme niya. Imagine, the type of heat he would have gotten if he'd come out to that.
Pero I think like this theme actually solidifies this era of SmackDown as the Roman era of SmackDown. This is it. This is the pinnacle of his dominance, if you will. Because remember how you had Cena debut his own theme song on a SmackDown all those years ago. But it's the same exact statement. Now, when you think SmackDown, you don't think of anybody else except Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that's a great point that Chino brings up. Kasi Daniel Bryan was the avatar of SmackDown, diba, for the last 5 years. And now that Bryan's been written out, we need a new avatar for the blue brand. And I think that's Roman Reigns. So yeah, that's a really great point. We're going to talk about Raw in a bit. We'll also talk about a little bit of NXT. Yung mga Eva Marie fans, hang on. We're going to talk about that. But first, we got to let you know about one of the ways you can support the podcast, and that is through our friends from Lazada.
All right, guys. It's Lazada's 5/5 sale until May 9. I believe that is Sunday. Tama ba?
Yeah.
So you got all that time to score some really sweet deals. I posted a TikTok of wrestling stuff you can find on Lazada. So yun, try nyo yun. Hashtag nasa Lazada yan. And you can support the podcast by via your Lazada shopping by using our affiliate link. That is podlink.co/EUL. Again, that's podlink.co/EUL. Use that before you add to cart, before you check out. And the portions of your purchases will go a long, long way in helping us do what we do here on the podcast.
And now a quick word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia.
Hey, you. Stop looking around. I'm talking to you. You with the headphones. Tell him, Migs.
Are you sick and tired of running out of toilet paper?
No, the other one. The other one.
Are you looking to satisfy your weekly geeky needs? From comic books to movies to video games and anime.
The show that takes you from a galaxy far, far away to infinity and beyond.
Then we got you covered. We are your audio precinct for whatever pop culture case.
I'm Migs.
I'm Dre.
And I'm Ian. This is Geek PD. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast fix.
But who's gonna buy my toilet paper?
Migs, nobody wants the toilet paper. We got bidets.
You're a bidet.
let's get to some shout-outs on Kumu.
All right, we have a question here from Kaz_Zanias. Tanong niya, he says he watched Batista's debut MMA fight, and what can you say, or can we say about it? Kasi, well, I can't say much about it because we haven't seen it, or I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
and
you know what? I will save my judgment for when he guests on the Wrestling podcast. Wow, Dave, let's go, Dave. Want to hear my thoughts on your MMA fight? Let's go, Dave. Get on the show, Dave.
Road to Batista. Scamageddon says a recent example of young talent, or quote-unquote young talent, that Brian has worked with is Cesaro. That's true. And I think we're headed for Cesaro versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania Backlash. Thank you, guys. Scamageddon says DB, Daniel Bryan versus Jacob Fatu of MLW will be awesome. I really got to check out Jacob Fatu's work. A lot of people are recommending him. The Samoan Werewolf, I believe his moniker is. Thank you, guys. Mackie Swip, Ashton Salvador, the fangirl _ Kirk Bailon, Adrian _ Rock, Zeleng, MJA 1005, Vic _ De Jesus 12 Agent, Tristan Riddlebro. Thank you guys for tuning in on Kumu.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Also, shout out to JK, who's saying he loves what he's seeing on here. So thank you, JK.
Yeah, we appreciate you following us on TikTok. Lahat ng mga nakahanap ng wrestling channel nila in us through TikTok. Thank you very much. Let's go to Raw. And I know we have a lot of feelings about Eva Marie. I would say na yun yung pinakamalaking talk point coming out of Raw. They brought her back.
Bigger than Mansoor finally losing his 49 win.
Clearly, Chino. I do not give a crap about Mansoor. I, however, give a crap about Eva Marie. Okay? So the new gimmick is the Evolution. And one of our friends, Chris Festin, actually pointed out online na Eva Marie is like the next new Sable na binibuild up nila. Like, remember when they were pushing Lana in this direction, Liv Morgan in this direction, Emma in this direction, Eva Marie herself in 2016, and then now Evolution. A lot of people are angry on social media. They're saying things like, we let go of Mickie James and the Iconics for Eva Marie, which I have to call out. Kasi as much as people hate Eva Marie, one, that's good for her when she actually debuts because that's a reaction, diba? In wrestling, the worst thing that can happen to you is when you get no reaction. So, yung hate na to is better than apathy. Two, wala namang salary cap yung WWE eh. It's not like the NBA na may maximum ka na $100 million or whatever, diba? The WWE has a lot of money that they're continuing to bring in dahil sa Peacock deal nila and their TV deals. And hindi sila nawala ng pera kaya nila nirelease na Mickie James, sina Samoa Joe, yung Iconic. So can we just set that argument aside because that's a hot take that should stay in the
No. I'm actually gonna say that they have a point, but not necessarily on the fact that they don't have enough salary cap space for all of these women. I'm gonna say that if you can have an idea for someone as green, I wouldn't say untalented kasi mahirap i-quantify yun right now. Someone as green as Eva Marie, how can you even
No, I get what you're trying to say. If you can have something for somebody who is a novice like Eva Marie, then why can't you have something for guys like for women like Mickie James and the Iconics? Right? Sino ba hindi natulog sa atin tatlo dito, guys? Anyway,
sorry.
I get where you're trying to come from, but here's the thing. I feel like the WWE is really going after crossover appeal. Here, they're really trying to go for people who look like movie stars, who they can build up as superstars, for lack of a better term. Because that's what they saw with Eva Marie all those years ago. She's a fitness model. She's hot. Diba? She's hot. Exactly. So there's that instant attraction to her right away. Now you can say all you want about her wrestling career.
Teka, Chino, may dadagdag ako. Here's something that goes in Eva Marie's favor na sina Mickie James and the Iconics don't have. Eva Marie has captured a new audience in the American reality TV landscape. She was part of Celebrity Big Brother last year. Housemate niya si Anthony Scaramucci, yung naging White House secretary for like a month or whatever. So she was part of that cast. Okay, I don't think she won Celebrity Big Brother, but she conquered that little market. And I think WWE hopes that with how Eva Marie's brand really branched out post her first run, na mahahatak na yung audience na yun papuntang WWE, which goes back to what you said, Chino, about how they're really trying to get that mainstream hype.
Exactly, especially since now she has her own brand, diba? She has her own fitness brand that she's really pushing. So it's a win-win for both Eva Marie and the WWE. They get a new superstar they can push, and she gets a little rub for her company. Now, I'm not saying na dapat finire yung Iconics. It's not a one-for-one scenario. It's a lot more complicated than that because you're dealing with numbers and all that. And I'm not really a finance guy. But what I'm trying to say is I can see the benefit of the WWE trying to win Eva Marie over or trying to push her over.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer Ricky here because he's really indignant about the pushing of Eva Marie. That's the way the business goes. If you have someone who is popular outside of wrestling, naturally the booking will gravitate toward that. It's true for any company. It's true for WWE. It's true for AEW. It's even true for PWR and MWF. Basta may someone can draw new eyes to the product, eyes that weren't there before, eyes in other places. It's really gonna happen. Sorry, but that's the hard truth.
Yeah, hey, why do you think Casey Montero was in a main storyline?
Exactly, guys. Listen, okay, we all love wrestling, and that's fine. Lahat tayo sama-sama sa smart circle jerk natin, and that's cool. But if the same 15 guys are just the same guys who are willing to pay for tickets or watch shows, then the business does not grow. And that's really sad. That's how businesses die. It's trying to build that company into something bigger than it is, and that's essentially the end game here.
Yeah, take it from Chino. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. And well, we all know what we're talking about because we're all in the entertainment business, diba? We all want that big star that can draw more ticket sales for us, diba? Anyway,
kaya natin kinukuha si Batista. Batista, ano na? Basta na, Dave. Let's go, Dave.
No. I'm gonna say na sana Eva Marie was as good as Bad Bunny. You know, sana that's what every wrestling fan dreams of right now. And I'm gonna hit what Stan said earlier. I'm gonna say that he nailed it right in the head. If you guys don't want to see Eva Marie, don't get mad because the WWE is using your tears, your internet rage, your anger to propel the star of Eva Marie. Sorry, Ricky, it really is the hard truth. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
That is what it is, and you're gonna have to swallow that for now.
Yeah. So there, those are our thoughts on the evolution. I was actually thinking heading into the podcast na mag-aaway-aaway tayo because apparently we're all on the same page. I didn't realize that we all would be.
We have been paid by the money of big stars, so we need that shit.
In closing, I want to say Mansoor versus Goldberg, Saudi Arabia 2022. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, let's talk about Mansoor. All right, let's talk about him.
People want to see. I really have anything to say.
I have a couple of things to say about Mansoor, even though I don't give a crap about him. He got called up to Raw this week, and his 49-match win streak was snapped because of Humberto Carrillo interfering dun sa match niya with Sheamus. So Mansoor is being pushed as this plucky babyface, diba? Kasi he's being pushed to appeal to the Saudis. My problem with Mansoor as a character is that he looks like a douche. Like, sobrang presko niya eh. Sobrang presko niya.
I hope that's not racist or anything.
No.
I actually don't see it.
Middle Eastern?
No. I don't see it.
He comes across as the guy who, yung parang pag pumasok pala siya ng kwarto, ang sarap niyang sapakin. Like, he's trying to prove something, pero wala siyang K.
Okay. Wait now. Sorry. Can I just say Ali is also of the same descent?
Yeah.
I don't get that from Ali. I do not get that from Mustafa Ali.
From Mansoor. At all.
Okay, as the guy who actually watches 205 Live around here, the last thing I saw Mansoor participate in on that show, on that brand, is that he was trying to become a little more arrogant and aggressive in protecting his 49 match win streak. So when I think that Mansoor is a bit of a douche, it's because May Foundation done on how he was portrayed on that show. But this guy, though, it doesn't look it, pero he really does behave like a douchebag. Sayang kasi he's actually good. He's actually pretty good. He's a good wrestler. He's right at home on NXT. He's right at home on the Indies. Bruce, 205 Live exists to give the cruiserweights reps. That's what it is for. Anyway, yun nga, meron siyang it factor on being a natural heel, but I don't think it's because he looks like a natural heel. It's just the way he is.
Yeah, so para siyang Randy Orton. Remember sinabi ko last week na Randy Orton as a babyface is something I can't get behind because he just naturally looks like an evil, twisted, maniacal person, right? With Mansoor, he looks like your typical F-boy at BGC. Like back when we could all hang out at places like Revel and whatever Valve was called. A little bit, yeah, sure, yeah. Diba? He looks like he's someone who would be swiping on his app like right then and there in freaking BGC. So, that's not the crowd I roll with, not anymore. And that's why I say na parang, not my cup of tea. I don't like this guy based on how he looks. So, yeah.
Okay. I actually don't see it at all. Like, I buy him as a baby face because maybe he reminds me a lot of who am I thinking of here? Another a Mexican wrestler na hawig niya.
Angel Garza?
Yeah, Angel Garza. There we go. Na parang yung like, yes, Angel Garza is a douche, but he's baby-faced. And Mansoor kind of baby-faced as well.
Patrick Garcia lookalike.
Diba? Exactly. So there's
that's good.
That's a matinee idol appeal there. That gets to be more than the fact that he looks like a douche.
Magaling si Mansoor. He wrestles really well as a babyface. He's a high flyer.
Now, where did he get his 49 wins on like Superstar?
From main event, from 205 Live, yeah.
The Greatest Royal Rumble, yung mga Saudi events.
Yung mga random matches. Okay. So
yeah, they really did count that. And then right before they snapped the winning streak by DQ on Raw.
I was surprised that he had 49 matches.
Yeah. Hey, we're saying what's up to Chili Willy. Thank you for joining us, brother. Go check out the podcast I did with him over the weekend. We broke down some iconic promo masters. So sobrang fun. It's a masterclass in promo work. If you want to get into that. MJ in the comment section is referencing how Mansoor is actually a voice actor. So if you played WWE 2K's career mode, he was the voice of Cole Quinn.
Yeah,
so that's a fun fact.
So si Cole Quinn naman, douchebag na naging good guy. So
yes, like a face turn siya.
Yeah.
All right, so there. Those are our thoughts on Mansoor. Let's go to NXT now. Let's hop on over there and let's talk about Candice LeRae finally becoming a champion. Holy crap! I don't think we've seen someone on the WWE roster be primed for so long and get denied for so long. Think about that.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy for Candice, even if it is a championship that has to be shared. Because you need to give Eddie the rub as well. Hindi na siya a solo wrestler. But I'm happy for Candice for after all those years of destroying her body in hardcore championship matches, finally walk away with something. It brings a tear to your eye. You love to see it.
I'm actually pretty glad that it happened because if it still didn't happen after the second or third try, I think this was like their third try at the championships. Parang sobrang dala na eh. Yeah, exactly. So the way needed that gold and they delivered. So now si Austin Theory na lang ang walang championship sa the way. So I'm all okay for that. Ricky says that this week's episode of NXT was made him fall in love with wrestling again. It's pretty good. Still the best show, arguably, of the WWE's offerings. So go catch that.
Yeah, I love that main event. Between The Way and Shotzi and Ember. Sobrang cute ni Shotzi throughout the entire episode. Like, she doesn't normally present herself as a girly girl, but, this week, nag-iba yung tingin ko kay Shotzi. So, I really appreciated her. I think na having The Way carry a lot of gold is a good direction for the mid-card sa NXT. Because it's been a while since we had a faction that had all the championships, diba? Undisputed Era. Pero with The Way, having a bit more comedic juice in them, tapos intergender stable pa sila, it's a different element that they're bringing to the NXT canon. So, step in the right direction. Really happy for Candice LeRae, one of my favorite women's wrestlers in the world. So, yeah, great times all around.
And Johnny Gargano just makes a great smarmy heel. He makes a great...
Yeah, what a dick, diba? He wasn't there for his wife.
Yeah, exactly. He's just so conniving and so... It's so evil and so just douchey in all the right ways. Like, he really knows how to play that role so well. So just all in for The Way.
Ito may question ako to you guys. What do you feel about the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships changing hands thrice in the matter of 2 months, a few weeks? What do you guys think of that?
Sa akin okay lang. Kasi it makes sense in the context of the story, diba? And you said it yourself earlier na if Ember and Shotzi still retained, sobrang sira na yung character ng The Way. So I would rather that the characters make sense and that their credibilities be maintained rather than have a long-ass reign at the expense of the credibilities of these characters.
That's true.
I am also all for it, especially since I don't see where else Shotzi and Ember can take the titles. Like they already won. They got their victory from Raquel and Dakota, but that big face victory from it, and that's great for them. But other than that, I don't really see anybody other than The Way being able to match them up equally. Not that the NXT people can build up a new tag team, pero diba, as it stands right now in the landscape of the women's division, that's as far as Ember and Shotzi could have taken the title. Now, that said, it's always nice to see a face chase after a heel champion. Diba? That underdog mentality that we all love to see in wrestling. So, who knows? Diba, hindi pa tapos to. There's still a rematch clause and all that other kayfabe nonsense that we all love to watch. So that might actually lead to something.
Yeah, it's also good kasi it opens the door for other babyface teams. So you have Zoe Stark, and I think she's gonna start teaming with one of the new girls. I forget her name.
Zayda Ramier.
Yeah. There, Zayda Ramier. Thank you for that. And then of course Kaden and Casey. I'm really rooting for Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. And I think once they're done with Ken Shah, they might move on to Candice and Indy. So that's a fresh matchup. We haven't really seen that.
I think tapos na sila kasi they said their farewells. They moved on this week's episode, diba?
Yeah, which is just a weird end. She just said, "Nah, I'm done with it. I don't want to be with horror set nonsense." Which is like okay, I guess you decide how the story goes now. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sure. One more thing about NXT before we get to our next break. Let's talk about the debut of Swerve's new faction. So, yung opening match na NXT was the Falls Count Anywhere between Leon Ruff and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Spoiler alert, that's my pick of the week. I was pretty surprised that Swerve finally debuted his faction, diba? It was also nice that they shouted out AJ Francis by name. Most of you might not have seen him if you haven't been watching Most Wanted Treasures, but because I have, familiar na ako with AJ Francis. And then the girl, I think people have been calling her Discount Bianca Belair. Her name's actually Brianna Brandy. And the other guy is Ashante Theodonis. So, parang rap group sila, di ba?
Yeah, and they're actually all part of Swerve's real life record label. So I think that's
a real. Okay.
No, what? Yeah.
That's
if
real?
you look at, because I was already Instagram stalking a lot of them. See, Ashante Theodonis is actually a rap star, right? He actually raps. So
I know Brianna Brandy's a rapper too.
Brianna Brandy's a rapper. AJ Francis also an actual rapper.
Ashante is part of the group.
And they posted a few videos together of them throwing out music videos. So silang apat lang yun nandun. And then a little further further digging showed me that they're actually all part of the Swerve label, whatever it's called. So
is it Pioneer City? Kasi yun yung nasa vest ni AJ.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe that's what it's called. But I know they're all part of the same label.
Yun.
Okay.
Sabi ni Bruce, buti pa si Kaden Carter pinaglaban ang Philippines kontra sa China.
Buti pa si Kaden. Totoong Filipinian.
Sticking to the topic here, I actually don't know which came first, the wrestling or the record label. Basta alam ko they're all part of the same.
Physical wrestling, and then they just got together because of wrestling.
Pwede.
So I like this. I like how they're WWE's answer to the Acclaimed.
Oo nga no.
Sino sa kanila yung sisigaw na may dalang boombox?
Si Swerve.
Swerve yung producer, di ba? Siya yung beatmaker.
Yeah! Siya yung Lil Jon. So yeah, that's good. I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. I don't know what their name is for sure yet. I can't really tell you, but I'm excited for yung future ni Swerve and his new faction.
Also, Black Excellence, guys. You'd love to see it. Black Excellence.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about El Jefe finally returning. I'm a huge fan of this. We'll also talk about the best Asian and Pacific Islander wrestlers in WWE in celebration of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. All of that is coming up, but first we got to let you know about how you can support the podcast through your online shopping on Zalora.
All right, guys. Apparently, buhay pa yung Zalora sale. So if you use our special code on Zalora when you check out, it's wrestling. Again, wrestling. I don't have to spell that for you. You get 25% off plus 10% cash back for a minimum purchase of $1,999. So use that whenever you're getting your fits from brands like Nike, Adidas, H&M, Under Armour, stuff like that. And, support the podcast through that.
All right. And now another quick word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia.
Mahilig ka ba sa kwentong kababalagan at misteryo? Halina't sa aking campsite at pag-usapan natin mga kwentong humalo sa kultura, kasaysayan at kamalayan ng ating mga Pilipino. Ako si Earl, ang inyong campmaster at inaanyayahan ko kayong makinig sa Philippine Campfire Stories Podcast. Makinig ng libre sa Spotify, Apple Podcasts at sa inyong paboritong podcast platforms.
Let's get to some shoutouts.
All right. See, Kyle says she's calling us out for not talking about Diamond Mine. Okay, Diamond Mine is apparently not Tessa Blanchard. So that is what Fightful Select says. We don't know that for sure because they are apparently playing it close. They don't want anyone else to know who or what Diamond Mine is. So we'll find out when we find out.
Tyler Rust yan, man. Diamond of the Rust.
Hindi ko talaga yan yung bagong Iconopro, whatever the Vince protein shake. Yeah, whatever it's called. It's a protein shake, guys.
Steven of the Geeky One said discount Bianca Belair is apparently more of a discount Jade Cargill.
Wow.
Pwede. I mean, I haven't seen her in the ring yet. Scumageddon says Johnny and Austin are hiding from Cross. That's true, they are. That's pretty weird that they suddenly inserted themselves NXT Championship picture. Kyle was saying Diamond Mine is the name of Swerve stable. Probably not, because it's really, really far. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us here on Kumu.
Also, let's give a shout out to Joseph Shello's 7-year-old brother, si Liam. Was that what you going to say, Stan?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Sabi niya na mas nag-enjoy daw si Liam sa Raw nung Attitude Era kesa sa Raw ngayon.
Wow, for a 7-year-old too. For a 7-year-old to say that.
I'm not sure you'd want to show your 7-year-old the TNA
exactly.
Era. Pero it is bad idea yun.
I would say it is better. 2 hours lang yun so okay din.
Sure. All right. Okay. Let's talk about El Jefe, or Dario Cueto from Lucha Underground. Real name Luis Fernandez Hill. So it's kind of funny na he found his way back into wrestling kasi hindi naman siya talaga wrestling personality before Lucha Underground. He's an actor and he's been on several American-produced TV shows and movies over the years. So I'm pretty surprised na MLW was able to work out a deal with the actor playing Dario Cueto to bring him in.
I don't think he's like this A-list actor anyway. So maybe like Dario Cueto was his best most known role.
A level lang din si Lana maybe. Like before Lana became a wrestler.
Yeah, parang
he doesn't have like he probably doesn't have like millions of Instagram or TikTok followers and all that. But I'm excited for this. I caught yung clip of El Jefe returning to wrestling right before we started our stream. So it's on MLW. Yung fusion show nila is available in its entirety on YouTube if you want to check it out. So the El Jefe vignette is at the very end, the last couple of minutes, and he doesn't really address himself yet. But you see a lot of the familiar elements from Lucha Underground, like the Aztec gold medal. He mentions things like the gods and sacrifice. Yung iconic Red Bull niya, nasa table. Yung kanyang nameplate na I'm kind of a big deal is on the table. It's really good. As a Lucha Underground fan, it really speaks to me. It's calling me out. So now I have a reason to follow MLW.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how much of how big of a part of the show it is going to be. As far as I know, I thought Azteca Underground was just a stable, just a faction. So I think the jury is still out on whether or not that the Lucha Underground brand is really taking over MLW.
Parang Diamond Mine lang yan, guys. Actually, it's also a protein shake. It's also a protein shake. Azteca Underground protein shake.
Let me give you a shout out here. Sabi niya he loves watching Ted DiBiase harassing Cameron Grimes. I actually agree. That's one of my favorite parts of NXT right now. Si Cameron Grimes kasi siya yung parang Dwight Schrute nila eh. Sobrang nakakainis na tao. Tapos ang sarap niyang panoorin pag ginagago siya ng ibang tao. So, it's great. It's really great. Okay, let's go to today's Throwback Thursday topic.
Wait, can I do like a quick little something on Azteca Underground? Because it's
sure.
It makes me wonder if this becomes an offshoot of MLW, then what does this mean for the MLW WWE relationship? Diba? Parang, are the people appearing on MLW going to also appear on on Azteca Underground? Sorry, like how does? But since everything is still up in the air, it's just an interesting question to ponder. Like,
alam ko na yung top 5 picks ng Azteca Underground.
Diba?
Si Daba Kato, si Brianna Brandy, si Braun Strowman, tsaka lahat ng mga nag-appear sa Raw Underground. Si Shane McMahon, yun. Yung mga top 5 picks nila.
That doesn't answer my question, but okay.
No, but to answer the question, I don't think we know kasi what the extent of this potential partnership. I think it's really in just the talking phase right now. Yung mga big wigs ng both MLW and WWE, nag-uusap pa lang sila. It hasn't reached down, it hasn't trickled down yet to the rest of the company. So we don't know talaga until we find out.
Sabay doon lumabas si Parker Bordeaux.
All right, let's go to Throwback Thursday for this week. So we said earlier that the month of May in the US is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. At dahil US citizen na rin si Chino ngayon, we're gonna do something for to celebrate like a US
Don't say
thing.
that immigration might be listening. No, I'm not a US citizen, guys. Okay.
So let's talk about our favorite Asian American and Pacific Islanders na nag-wrestle sa WWE. I'm gonna start, and I think the obvious pick has to be Batista. I mean, well, aside from The Rock, it's The Rock and Batista, diba? They really carry the torch for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, diba? With Batista literally having the Philippine flag on his shoulder, diba? When people found out na Batista's Filipino, like, Pinoy pride, atin yan, even though, he didn't really visit the Philippines until 2006.
Oh,
but he himself,
nagsuot ka ng Gilas jersey. Filipino yan.
Yeah. He did make an effort naman to identify with the Philippines, but which is more than a lot of other part Filipino celebrities can say. So I really appreciated that about Batista, and seeing how far he's come and how he's really carried yung fandom on his back when he went to Hollywood, kind of like The Rock. Batista stops in my book.
Sige, I'm gonna go with Umaga kasi I think he is criminally underrated. People just see the Samoan savage character, which is kind of a racist stereotype now that you think about it after all these years. Pero underneath that was a pretty solid wrestler. There's a reason why the Anoa'i family continues to be a relevant force in wrestling today, even after all these generations, after all these decades, after all these years. So Umaga is someone you guys should watch back, especially when he was being pushed to the main event scene. Kahit he wasn't really that coherent as a character at the time. But yes, syempre we have other picks like Roman Reigns and The Rock, diba?
Yeah, fun fact, guys. Out here, Filipinos are actually Pacific Islanders. So, they're not Asians. It's I know, surprising. But
which is weird. Because we are both, technically.
Yeah, right, diba? So it's weird. Anyway, we're not here to talk semantics. We are here to talk about classic Pacific Islander wrestlers, diba? Dami natin na mention like the guys like Umaga and The Rock. Well, that wouldn't have happened if you didn't have the Wild Samoans, diba? That wouldn't have happened if you didn't have High Chief Peter Maivia, diba? Working with Vince's dad all the way back. So there's the lineage has already been set, and it's just an interesting thing to see people from a small island nation carve their way in a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's like it's something that's just so, I guess, unexpected in a way, but also so magnificent to witness, so awe-inspiring to witness, diba? Because of that, you get guys like Rikishi, who is a Hall of Famer himself. Diba? You get like Umaga and Roman Reigns and the Usos and that generation of wrestlers. And even if you look at the Asian side of things, ang dami ko nang sinabi, but then you also have the Ricky Steamboats of back in the day. Diba? Your Yokozunas, who's also part of the Anoa'i family. But there's a lineage of amazing AAPI.
Dude, the Iron Sheik is
the
Asian.
Iron Sheik, actually. Oo nga pala. He's also Asian, technically. So it's all the lineage of people who are a part of that dynasty of wrestling, of wrestlers of that race or that background. It's so incredible.
I want to ask you guys about Filipinos in WWE. Kasi, diba, you mentioned, Ro, kanina si Umaga, his character was basically a stereotype, diba? I found it weird na si Batista, like when it came out na Filipino nga siya and he identified as Filipino because of the flag tattoo, diba? Parang, why was it never a part of his character? Or parang it's cool to me that Batista was just a guy who happened to be half Filipino. In the same way na si TJP was also someone who just happened to be Filipino.
I think he didn't really super identify with the Filipino background. Like I read his book and his growing up was more on the streets. And I believe that he had more connections with his Greek side of the family.
Which is his mom, diba?
Yeah. Feel free to correct me on that.
No, I think you're right. I think his dad wasn't really in the picture.
No.
Diba? And his dad was the Filipino one. Dave, feel free to correct us yes.
In person.
In person. No, but that's how I remember it. Him telling it.
Na-bring up ko lang yun kasi for all of the stereotyping that wrestling is notorious for, it's amazing to me na walang negative Filipino stereotypes outside of the Philippines, diba? Batista and TJP and Fala ba just happen to be Filipino. And even with Fala, yung parang tribal character niya, it's not parang a dig at him being Filipino. It's more parang generic na Pacific Islander. You get what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. But would you really want them to be what? To be a wrestling nurse? You know? Wrestling janitor?
I'll throw this out there, and this might be a hot take here, and say that maybe it's because the rest of the world really doesn't know what a Filipino stereotype is.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hot take, Chino. I think that's actually accurate. It's more accurate than you think.
Maybe it's not as popular as we think. Kasi sa atin, yes, popular yung Filipino nurse, Filipino mailman.
That's right.
Diba? Popular sa atin yun kasi alam natin yun. We have a relative who's a nurse. We know of 5 of them, 6 of them. But then we don't really know if the majority of the white wrestling public knows what a Filipino nurse looks like. Just look at Grey's Anatomy has been under fire recently because they don't have a single Asian nurse. A show that's been on air for so many years, more than a decade.
Since the mid-2000s. Holy crap.
More than a decade. Wala silang one single Asian nurse. So it's not really a popular stereotype to play off of. Even TJP says that he's had a hard time trying to sell the idea of Phil-Am heritage to the WWE, diba? In our interviews with him. Because it's not really a popular stereotype people gravitate towards.
Which is fine for us. Kasi, it's fine for us kasi we're not boxed in to this stereotype. Parang tayo lang may alam na OFWs are nurses or engineers or whatever have you, diba?
But on the flip side, there's also the, I would say, negative part na it's hard to tell na, Pinoy ka pala, diba? Like when TJ cut his promo at the end of Homecoming, he said that he was often cast as Mexican or like any other race na hindi Filipino kasi hindi nila alam yung itsura ng Filipino or hindi raw siya mukhang Filipino. I mean, look at Joaquin Wild, diba?
Yeah,
people
can
say na, he's Latino because he hangs out with Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I just find it weird na parang it's hard to tell na what is a Filipino, and this is probably like a different plane of a conversation, medyo sociological or whatever or anthro. Kasi 'di ba parang yung Filipino, ano ba talaga itsura ng Filipino, and we're such a multicultural race na ang dami ng halo-halo. So wala na talagang yan Pinoy yan. Alam mo yun?
Alam nyo kung saan nyo mahanap yung sagot niyan? Sa Class Clown Podcast Season 2 Episode 3 with my Phil-Ab guest.
Hey. Yeah, that's a good shout out there.
Yeah, so yun,
I just put myself over.
I guess zooming out of it, I would like to see more Filipino representation in wrestling outside the Philippines, lalo na in WWE. I hope na one day they can correct Kaden Carter's billing thingy in her entrance na it's not the Philippine Islands because we haven't been called that since the colonial era. I hope that Kaden Carter can incorporate more of that into her gimmick. I hope Shotzi can incorporate more Pinoy stuff into her gimmick. I hope Joaquin Wild comes out as Filipino and, stops.
He's out as Filipino naman eh.
They did put out a video last year yata to where they were eating.
I remember that.
Talking about their heritage, diba? So at least